Alright, hello and welcome to the Steins episode 22 episodic review. The experiment is nearing its conclusion, so let's wrap this one up. We had Okabe hesitating, delaying the inevitable choice of sacrificing Makise to return to the original world in which she's dead, but that saves Mayuri and much more beyond Mayuri, the whole world, from CERN and their monopoly on time travel. But anyhow, we get a recap of all the weighty heaviness of Okabe telling Makise if they undo the first email that she'll be murdered. So she's in the know. She was visiting the site of her death. Maybe she remembers it as smidgen. And that she'll be murdered in the original world line. Pool of blood. Okabe and Makise are on the roof of the conference building talking. What was it? Radio Kaiken or something? Radio Kaiken. Makise goes to ask Okabe something, but kind of cuts it off there. And then it starts raining. Raining quite a bit, quite fast. Makise and Okabe run for cover into the stairway to dry off. We get an Okabe hentai moment, and we get some Okabe and Makise mini verbal feud, fun stuff, really enjoyable. Okabe kind of moves forward or to the side, and Makise kind of moves back or to the side, kind of wanting her space. Kind of interesting. Okabe claims his disinterest in Makise in a certain way, physically, her appearance, and that goes over really well. Makise notices, I'm sure she gave a pretty strong reply there as well. I think she said similarly about him, but nonetheless, Makise notices a tear in Okabe's lab coat at this point. Makise knows how to stitch it up. Waifu material. Okabe trolls her and she blushes. Makise fixes Okabe's lab coat up with pink thread. She had whatever chance of it being any given kind of thread because it's dark in the stairway there. But she had different kinds with her. Okabe sits next to Makise and fairly close. She moves away. And so it wasn't earlier that. It was now in terms of horizontal, not depth-wise, forward and back. So the first time I said that must have been forward and back. But she moves away, and again, Okabe claims his disinterest in her. Okabe supposedly ripped the coat while looking for Makise. He looked everywhere. And she picks up that he was worried about her. He defends with, you are one of my lab members to keep track of. So, I don't know. She kind of digs his caringness of her, and they just continue kind of verbally trolling each other, this and that. Very enjoyable stuff. Makise points out to Okabe the location of her death. She knows, she remembers it, but it's very foggy. It's foggy. She can't see 100%. And she remembers Okabe, all these world lines, slightly coming to her. Okabe wanting to save Mayuri, and yet isolated, so alone in this whole thing. living out her inevitable death perpetually. And she's seen Okabe fight for Mayuri's life. Makise finds that Mayuri is irreplaceable to him, and that she has never been that to somebody herself. And she really wanted to help him with it, to not be alone. Very good. She wants Okabe. She has decided. She wants Okabe to save Mayuri. So, aka, she's willing for herself to be dead in order to save a friend. Boy. That's a really good part of Makise's character here. Willing for herself to go for another to live. Amazing. Amazing. Amazing, amazing selflessness. That is a bonkers amount of selflessness. However, Okabe, he's hesitating and delaying. Okabe, he does not want to give up so easily on Makise. Makise cannot find a solution to their dilemma. It has to be one of them. It's either Mayuri or Makise. So it's inevitable. It's the inevitable choice to save the world and go back to the world where Makise is dead and is murdered. But you don't want to lose anyone. Oh boy. So Makise could not find an alternative route for them to be able to stay on the current world line and save Mayuri. Not only just saving Mayuri, but all the stuff with CERN is still in place as well. So even if they could save Mayuri, they still couldn't deal with CERN. So it's just inevitable. Okabe runs off, not willing, not accepting one tidbit to allow Makise to die, that reality of everything they've been through to go down the pipe. Okabe wonders, running back to the lab to time travel back, to time leap back. Okabe wonders the purpose. Purpose if he has to let one of them die. Okabe, he's about to time leap back. So he ran off to the lab as fast as he could. Makise, out of breath as well, just manages to stop him, She stops him. She says she wants this choice. She wants it. She wants it. And for him not to run away from it, him not to run from this fate of hers. And that leaping back, 1 time, 10 times, 100 times, perpetually, it's just going to be the same. He can run as much as he wants, but he can't hide. The divergence number will never get past the 1%. And she worries about his mind frame, his mental health, given all the stuff he's had to deal with, all the stuff he's had to see, all the burden he's had to bear all by himself, and yet Makise helping here and there. But him alone, remembering everything and living everything over and over and over and over, and fighting and fighting and fighting, and he can't give up, or everything is just toast. The fate of the world on him and all the garbage he had to deal with. Every time he wanted to snap and break and give up, she was there. She was there. Beautiful. He gets defensive and just states, hey, I hear you, but I've seen Mayuri die perpetually, dozens of times, infinitely. I've relived it so much. And he's willing to see it endlessly to save her, Makise. If he can find a way, he's willing to just relive it perpetually, infinitely, to find a way to save her somehow. And this is one of those moments where you get that little bit of potential emotion. Here's what happens. Makise slaps Okabe. She breaks down. She cries. She tells Okabe of him allowing Mayuri's death to occur, to keep occurring. For him to allow that, his heart is broken from the normalcy of seeing it. It's normalized to him. That's the thing. If we see this and that in the news, or whatever the case, it kind of becomes normalized. So it's important to keep our hearts strong towards certain things. Otherwise, we lose a degree of sensitivity or discernment of the heart and conscience to different things. And this is what Okabe has in terms of seeing Mayuri die. It's normal to him. It's normal to him to see his best friend get murdered time and time again. That's heavy. That's essentially, he's torturing himself. He's getting tortured and he's trying to save them. My goodness. Okabe, Makise tells Okabe of him. His broken heart. She begs him. Shouldn't have to beg, but she begs him to just stop. Stop. Please stop. Because it's going to destroy you. It's destroying him. It will destroy him if he pushes himself. He kind of finds himself again here, thanks to her and her support and being there. He acknowledges it. Yet he is numb. He is numb to all this, living all this stuff now. You know, you can get a numb shot. You can't feel what's going on. And that's essentially what he has. And that's pertaining to Mayuri's death, murder, bonkers. Her death is a puzzle, an impossible puzzle. Both of them. Mayuri on this one and Makise on that one. He always wanted to try again on this world line. Makise begs Okabe, save Mayuri. Save Mayuri. Otherwise, losing her will end himself. It will destroy him. And he'll have regret losing Mayuri. And then he gets, I think, back into it that that all he has done, all the countless world lines and time leaping, all he has done would have been for nothing if he gives up now. That's the bonkers thing. When you are pursuing something and fighting for it, and fighting for it, and fighting for it, and fighting for it, the more you are invested, the more you cannot lose. You cannot fail, or everything would have been for nothing. I think Makise says that Okabe is dead. The real him is dead. Makise wants him to do what is best for them both, for everyone, for the world. So selfless, my goodness. Great stuff. Okabe hugs Makise Kurisu. Okabe Rintaro. He's so thankful for her. He's realizing it all now. He ponders about how he's relied upon her and has spent such an amount of time with her across all the world lines and time leaping infinitely. He called her so many things, but not what was in his heart. Okabe, well, first with the names things. The zombie, Christina, and all that stuff. Good stuff. Okabe agrees to allow Makise to die. He's willing to go back to the original world line to save Mayuri and the world from CERN. But in doing so, he's willing to allow her to die. Makise thanks him for nobody else really, from her perspective, wanted her around quite like he did, who needed her quite like he did, most appreciated with him. He has just such regret of how things have panned out here. He desperately wishes that the individual that died in the original world line, he wishes that it could have been anyone else than her, anyone else than Makise. She tries to act all positive here and give him assurance. Kind of short end of the stick here. She knows, but she tries to deliver something hopeful. She ponders to him that, with returning to the original world line, that she might not be gone, but still alive, yet in other world lines, technically she'll still be alive. So she's trying to give him peace, to just, we're going through with this type of a deal. And Makise is just pleased. She wants one thing. She wants one thing and one thing only. Oh man, this is a beautiful thing too. Her one request. She's willing to sacrifice herself to save the world and Mayuri from CERN. She says, Okabe, Please just remember me. Don't forget me. Wow. Wow. I'm surprised that isn't more of a tear up kind of moment. Because that, depending on the delivery of that line, that could really hit, you know. That could really hit, I can tell. You know, man. Okabe says, in response to that he could never forget her. He could never forget her. And that, and it's starting to roll out here, and that the reason he could never forget her is because he cares for her most in the world. Okabe says, Skida. He loves Makise. She blushes. He asks her how she feels, for he wills to know as well from her side. That's the case with everyone. If you reveal that card, you want to know if they feel the same way. It's just how that business rolls. So Okabe revealed his care for Makise, and he wants to know if she does dig him as well. Makise has Okabe shut his eyes. And slowly but surely, they get close, and there's a kiss scene. They kiss. She kisses him. I think that counts for a reply. I think he got his answer. Maybe more. Smooth job, Okabe. Smooth. Makise totally digs Okabe, as he does to her. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, very, very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. To toss a romance into here. The romance aspect into this. Icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. So all their initial verbal feuding, and then the transition into them actually getting to know each other and liking the verbal kind of jabs, and for them along the lines to actually dig each other, and now for the reveal. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Greatness, greatness, greatness. And this isn't even a romance anime, but it's a nice component of the show. Anyhow, she blushes all embarrassed, and tsundere, you know, gotta kind of sell things rather shortly with, you know, showing how you truly feel. And she gets all defensive about this sort of activity, you know, and talks about the science and the brain and whatever the case, how memories are hard to forget if this and that, if you really make an impression or whatever the case. And so they really need to, you know, for him to remember her, that she really needs to make this solid work, you know. I don't think he'll forget. And then he goes all troll mode about the first kiss type deal. He trolls, or whatever. He claims, well, or whatever the case. She might have said that was her first kiss, and he kind of counters that with, well, this wasn't really my first kiss, and that it didn't register to his brain well enough. So he tries again to not risk forgetting her. At this point, she's like, sure, yeah, why not? So she agrees. So we get a second kiss and kisses after that. Yes, 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 yes. So much yes. So they are pretty much making excuses at this point for all that necking. But anyhow, now we get later on, Makise is flying back to the U.S., considering everything's going to change anyway. Okabe gives her an invention, one of his inventions, and she throws him a Dr. Pepper, which is, by the way, the best drink in the world according to scientists. So long as you don't mind the health difference between water and pop, and wanting to keep your teeth. Okabe trolls her. She mouths some sort of unhearables to him, which, oh, that is so frustrating when they do that in shows. That is so frustrating. It's fine if they reveal the actual words, but not if they don't tell us what they actually said. That's frustrating. That is very, very frustrating. Because you desperately want to know. You kind of need to know, dang it. So, but he essentially turns back around after picking up his Dr. Pepper she threw to him, and she's essentially already gone. I guess she talked of a world without her and only him recalling it. Knowing he cared means a lot to her, so much to her, and hopes for him to think of her, for she's still in his heart. Boy, oh boy, there is some beauty in that. There is some beauty in that. Now, we get back to the lab. Daru finds, be ready for this sucker. Daru finds the original D-mail in the CERN database and is ready to delete it. And that will return them to the original world line, which CERN doesn't have a monopoly on time travel, and Mayuri lives, yet Makise dies. Okabe brings them all together. He delivers this grand victory speech in all his style, all his goofy style, and talks about defeating everything in his path and all he's been through. And he even references Makise. Oh boy. And by the way, after you see the show, you got to see the OVA and movie in that order. Very important. Very good stuff. Very good movie. Not as great as the show, obviously. It can't encompass a whole show worth of content and goodies. Meat and potatoes. But nonetheless, it was still good. It wasn't great, it was good. And one would always accept a more good of a show that has the potential. So Okabe gave a speech. Slow-mo, probably, I think just like the beginning with the original button hit. He's hesitant, but he hits it. And the world line begins to shift back. It starts working. And everything starts changing a little bit. And we're seeing a shift. Everything kind of getting warpy, blurry over time, a little bit here and there. He ponders Makise with that hit. He ponders Makise to forgive him. It is at this point in time, when the change is happening, when the shift is starting, Makise bursts into the lab. Absolutely floors into the lab, throws open the door, and she's all out of air. She's about to tell what she forgot to with Okabe. She's about to tell him how she feels about him. And I kid you not, I could flip tables about this one, and so could other people. She just starts telling him how she feels about him. I think she gets in the watashi. And she was all like, okabe, and out of breath. And I think she got in the watashi, and then it's like ... And she's cut off by the world line changing. It stopped her from saying that Skida, she loves him. No. Divergence meter changes to 1.130205. We're back to the start of the show. Okabe returns to the original world line. And he's like phased. It would have been so nice and rewarding. I mean, he got the kisses, he knows, but to hear it is another thing as well. It would have been such a nice reward to hear it. And to have been cut off from it, hearing it, just for a mere second or two. Oh, you gotta feel for him. And so it's like this, I don't know, it's like the best of both worlds. He gets plopped back into the original world line. Everything's okay and hunky-dory, and yet he wanted to hear and continue that world line where Makise was going to tell him how she feels. She was willing to say. And oh, that stinks not to say. He didn't get the skida. So it's like a bittersweet moment. He's like stunned there. You know, he has all the reason to be happy, and yet he's kind of not happy with how things ended there. And then we get on the news or whatever, Dr. Nakabachi's time machine press conference was successful, so we're past it. And Okabe asks about things, you know. Mayuri confirms that we only have lab member 001, 002, 003. Okabe, Mayuri, and Daru. And Okabe, to confirm that everything's hunky-dory and good, he notices a bit of evidence. His lab coat, the tear and the stitch, it's gone. The pink thread or whatever, it's gone, meaning Makise never repaired it, nor did it ever tear. Bonkers. So, and thus he never would have looked for Makise and all that. Okabe decides to dish out another victory speech as his typical self, and we get kind of these little illusions that the characters are somewhat in the know. Mayuri says he doesn't need to fake being in Kyoma for her, for no bad stuff will occur to her anymore. So she kind of knows and remembers, and she tells him, she finishes it off telling him, you can cry now, you can cry, you're allowed to cry now. What a journey. And here's where things go different. Instead of doing the texty-text or messing with any time travel stuff in honor of Makise, in honor of her life and everything she sacrificed, he's not going to risk undoing everything with messing with more time travel. So Okabe dismantles the phone microwave, and not building it equals not meeting Makise and suffering from it all again. And he's not going to do any more Ho and Kyoma stuff. He's just going to be his normal self. Not any of his extra Chunibyu type stuff. His goofiness. Okabe ponders this choice being for the best. And he thinks of Makise. Now it's at this point where people start getting curious. And all that. We still have 2 episodes to go. So, it feels very, very weird at this point in the show, originally. It's like, we're ending things, but we got 2 more episodes. How is that? Is one going to be just based on all the characters? And then what would they do with the other episode type of a deal? Turns out, and this is why you always watch past the credits. You get partway through the credits or whatever the case, and then you start hearing different audio and different things happening. The credits start going in reverse with everything going on with the visuals, the glass breaking or whatever, the hourglass shattering. It reverses, and you start hearing Daru typing, and it's like, what? Daru gets a phone call who claims to be his daughter and wants to talk to Okabe. This individual gets on the well, I don't know if I worded that right, whatever the case. Gets on the phone with Okabe, wants to talk to Okabe. Okabe answers it. And talk about hype. Talk about hype and icing on the cake. And once again, cliffhanger madness. The person on the phone, it's recognizably Suzuha. So you can so it's Daru's daughter, or future daughter. She explains to Okabe everything. That she is from the year 2036. And he asks for clarification. What the heck? Why are you talking to me? Why have you time traveled back? He asks her, CERN should be no more. What's the problem? What's the deal? I fixed everything. I lived through it all. But she emphasizes the meat and potatoes. She responds. She now needs Okabe's help in preventing World War III from occurring and wants to meet up with him. That's where the episode ends. World War III? What? So, and some people agree and disagree on these last 2 episodes. I think it's darn good icing on the cake. I don't really have nothing against it, but some people would have preferred it, the events not to happen. And yet, I do agree with some folks thinking it would be odd for it to have ended off with, him just not doing the time travel thing, and that's it. But who knows? Anyhow, that'll be it. My favorite moment, obviously, the end there. So many things, the kissing, the confession, the Okabe getting shorted on her confession, there's so much weight and meat and potatoes. Oh, man. I'm telling you. This is a great, great episode. And we got more yet. Man. All right. So let me know your favorite moment of the episode. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more of the Steins episodic review. All right. So I will see you up ahead. As always, take her cool.